there, we took 3 lives, and he actually led me into some systematic corruption issues. And so we had to get to know the culture. But really, one of the second and the keyest points, and the one we probably emphasize the most, is communication. The different cultures. And I think because we're in electronics, storage, kind of companies, robot really work. Companies are that excited about it. So that helps. That was part of our communication strategy. So I think communication is key, as culture is key, and ultimately embedding in the business and being part of the process. It's making ethics and compliance not a little rubber stamp sign off at the end, but actually making it really part of the business and another key part. So obviously talks about that.
Barbara, same question. What are some key components for a successful ethics and compliance program for you?
Well, for us, we have a lot of information, a lot of processes, and really our biggest focus was trying to understand all of that information. We really struggled with knowing where were our risks, and so I'm a Six Sigma nerd. And so really having the focus of data and information to understand where are we in our organization, where are our areas of risk, and frankly, we just for many years had no perspective on where those focuses were. So by focusing our energy on having some capability of measuring our performance related to compliance and understanding what we're doing well, what maybe our areas of opportunity, that helped us to then focus our culture and our path forward. What are we going to focus on? So data for me was one of the key drivers of what we did to really help communicate better with our leadership, help understand our own functions in a little bit better light, and then really help us to start putting together some mitigation plans on what can we do to correct these elements that are risks for us.
Greg, same question.
Sure. So a little background on Bayada. We are in 22 states today and some international as well. And we have about 300 or so offices throughout the U.S. And we're in about 20,000 clients' homes a day. So for us, as far as compliance, I go to Chris's answer around this culture, right? And I think one of the things that sometimes gets downplayed a little bit is the culture piece. And we focus on a lot of that. We're a mission-driven organization. And we have a mission statement and our vision through a document called the Bayada Way. And I heard Donna say something in the talk earlier about the authenticity leadership at the top, and I thought that was really important because a lot of companies have something written down, have policies, have training when we talk about compliance programs. Those things are really important, right? So, but to take it to the next level and say you have the people in place who are authentic and who can drive the message around what ethics and compliance is about and why it's important, I think is the differentiator between just having a program that's adequate to some kind of regulations to being really effective and sustainable.
So, Sunil, with MetriStream being a provider of solutions for all industries, what you just listened to, 3 experts, 3 different industries, 3 different answers, but all definitely connected on some pretty fundamental levels. What are your thoughts on what for you are some of the real key ingredients for an effective EC program?
That's a good question. So some of the things that we see, because we look at these challenges across different industries, and across different organizations with different cultures, right? If you look at what happened with Wells Fargo, a premier inside firm whose main focus is surviving the financial crisis because of their strategy on relying on retail-based funding and consumers. But when you look at how they address risk, whether it was the foreman that was going down to the tellers who were accepting that funding, there was a cultural issue going on there, which was an undue pressure on sales for selling products across the customers, right? So one of the things that we see is that, yes, there should be a good culture and growth from the top, but alongside with that, there has to be communication there's got to be measured communication and training that can be tracked across the organization, right? And not only just training, but also, linking that back to complaints, issues, and cases. So for example, in Christmas, about Australia, they might have taken all the training courses, they might have, passed the code of conduct, training and exams. However, what were the kind of cases that came out there? Was there correlation between the cases coming out of the country or the incidents happening in that country and the culture, right? So that is the kind of data that I think boards need today. One of the things that we hear is that boards are looking to get more transparency and visibility into data. Yes. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So one of the things that boards are looking for today is they're looking to get more transparency into the compliance data throughout the organization. But it's challenging because they don't have that level of data. They get the data that has been provided and managed, right? So we look at training as one pillar in this program. We look at communication. We look at incidents and managing cases, right? And then we look at policies as well. How many policies do you have? Do you have policies defined at the right level? Do you have regulations mapped back to this policy, right? So are you addressing your global as well as your local requirements and standards? So when we take a look at all of those pillars, and then finally, of course, controls testing, right? You're tying in your line 3, line 2 of defense to make sure that issues arising from your audit and program are then followed up and raised to the topmost level, and those issues are correlated as well, right? So performing that kind of root cause analysis and managing your controls and control testing is another key component for being able to be able to set up a good compliance program.
So to springboard off of that, Greg, you were talking about the authenticity of an ethics compliance program. An authentic program is a living program. So it's in actual operations all the time. A program does no good if it's a set of dusty binders on a shelf that people know it's been written. There are legion of stories of companies that had wonderful programs that were written down, but were actually not baked into how people did their day to day. So with that in mind, could you guys give some examples of how how do you make ethics and culture part of your day-to-day operations, and perhaps offer some examples of how your company really takes it into account and makes it its own.
Sure. So I can offer 2 examples of that. The first is during the hiring process, really working in that cultural piece into the hiring process. So, when you bring someone in, it's not only about their technical skills or their managerial skills. It's about the way they live their life. It's about the belief systems that they have, and if those things are worthy of their culture. And we found success doing that and bringing in Mark Beata, who's our founder and leader, always says that we want like-minded people on the bus, right? So having those like-minded people around us has been able to have us be more successful in our compliance program and have it boil down all through the organization versus just being customized.
Barbara, how about you've got an interesting story to tell at your company?
So at PureSource, we actually were part of a False Claims Act. I don't know, 2010, before my time, so that's good. So part of that, then, we also were under a corporate integrity agreement. And it's interesting how much your culture shifts once you get a corporate integrity agreement assigned to you. So PureSource really has always been extremely member-centric. So we're primarily Ohio-based Medicaid plan. And so our focus is very much all about the member. And while we always have our good intentions at heart, then sometimes there's some elements that maybe get overlooked, which then ultimately resulted in us not following through on things as maybe we should. We did it right by the member, but maybe there were some other elements that didn't get taken care of appropriately, hence the CIA. So from that perspective, 5-6 years ago, when that came into play, what I saw and what I observed as the biggest change was is while we still maintain the member focus, that will never go away for CareSource, it really changed the leadership focus from the board members to our CEO and all the way down, and from the lens that it wasn't just okay enough to make sure that we made right by the member. It started to become more of that, it's appropriate and expected that people do everything to be compliant with all of our requirements. And that tone really was something that portrayed to every level. It's something that is talked about in most every all staff meetings that we have. When we bring in new hires, to Greg's point, we actually have our corporate ethics investigator go down and introduce himself to every single person that gets hired on at CareSource. Not to intimidate, obviously, but to give that open door policy that there's a face behind it that says, if you have things that you're concerned about, please come to us. We want to know. We want to investigate them. We want to understand. And so putting that face to the name has really put it where people feel open enough to share some concerns that they may have. And hopefully get us out of a potential whistleblower situation because we're more proactive about it and actions up front.
Now, Chris, I know that Western Digital is a very much international organization. For the session, you and I were talking about how you literally travel all over the world doing what you do. When we talk about culture, particularly about kind of a monolithic, Western ideal culture, but you have a very global perspective on this. So what are some of the things that you had to do to make sure that ethics and culture are operationalized at Western Digital?
Yeah, I think we obviously do some of the things you've already mentioned in terms of getting folks when they first start and then keeping up as they're there. I think to go a little bit back to what I mentioned a little bit before, I'm really trying to possess the culture will help us embed better. We have to be different and flexible within the different cultures that we're going to interact with. Not just in what we prescribe, but also in how we interact. So a good example, let's take a country like Thailand. If you have operations in Thailand and you don't know just the level of gift-giving culture exists in Thailand, then you need to get out there because it is pervasive. And simply going to Thailand and saying, no, we're an American company, you can't give gifts, can actually really harm your business. There's no regulation that's required. So getting to know them, getting to understand where they really need to do their business, and then sitting down with the leadership team. In Thailand, we have what are called compliance review boards. Sitting down with that review board, talking about the issues, and trying to find a solution that works with the international regulations, but also allows them to operate within their culture without disrespecting the culture, without harming culture. Is one just example of the kind of way we try to approach our anti-corruption.
I remember when I was in college, I did an anthropology class, and I'll never forget the professor talking about, what is culture? He said, culture is at its fundamental is the transmission of learned knowledge. And I was thinking, look at trying to export culture across the organization, you have to learn first before you can transmit. And to your point, you have to understand what is the accepted mode of behavior on the ground, because it's different everywhere you go. So what are your thoughts?
So a couple of things come to mind over there when it comes to culture. One is that from a technology perspective, you've got to be able to communicate that culture, those policies in the language that your readers understand, the end user understands. So whether that's being able to display the requirements, the policy, etc. in the local language, or be able to train or communicate that in a way that makes sense. To be able to customize your program to your audience and where they are is important. The second aspect to that is, when we think about culture, we think, and policies and compliance programs, we think very often about how that applies to our company. However, we've got to start thinking more about our third parties, our suppliers, our vendors, right, our consultants, our legal advisors, because they indeed are a representation of your organization, and the risks that you can be exposed to if your reseller or your partner does something and are almost the same as you would do it yourself. So a lot of times organizations, as we see customers are continuously growing, they're acquiring companies, I guess, right? And they're continuously growing their own organization. They really need to think about how do we incorporate our third party into our compliance program. So those are two areas that we see very often are ones that are, especially this global economy, getting more and more focused as we started, outsourcing a lot more of our functions outside of the organization.
I spend a lot of time speaking with ethics and compliance professionals, and I try to get an idea of what are the big challenges, what are the big goals that they're trying to get done. And of course, for many of them, the big thing is they want compliance to be seen not just as the speed limit, not just the brakes in the operation, right? Not just the no people, but people who actually add value to the organization. And coming at that perspective, it's a lot easier to get support. So with that in mind, obviously, risk is a two-sided coin, and on one side of the coin is challenge, and the other side of the coin is opportunity. And compliance is one of those disciplines that can turn challenge into opportunity. I'm kind of curious, Margo, could you offer an example of how, by really embracing ethics and culture, what's an example of how you've been able to turn a challenge as your operation into an opportunity, or turn a risk into a success?
So one example is that within our Ohio Medicaid program, our largest program we have at our organization, we were experiencing, it was 2.5 years ago, right before I came, I lived right. Just saying, it wasn't under my watch. So we experienced an enormous amount of non-compliance notices from our regulator, and it was
That Twitter needed.
Yeah. Poor little guy. It was, yeah. So it was a lot of times for very silly failures. These were not things that were large issues. They were failures such as not submitting reports on time. Not doing some data quality checks on information that we submit. We had a couple of bigger failures, but some of them were just, quite frankly, the basics that we were flat out missing and not doing a good job at monitoring. So one of the things that we implemented was just a couple of initiatives that said, here's our high-risk areas associated with our Ohio Medicaid program. So taking a look at the history to say what exactly was going on and where are we falling down. And then, frankly, we enlisted the help of our senior leader, the president of our Ohio market, to help us drive that culture of compliance for change related to the things that he was accountable for. And even accountable from the standpoint that it wasn't his direct reports, it was people who provided the support services to his program. And he brought together all the different leaders and more or less put down the edict that said, there will be no more non-compliances. We're done with this. So having that leadership support really was the changing point for our organization, specifically for that program, to turn things around. And now, we virtually have no non-compliances that are noticed from the state. We certainly have a lot of things internally that we still need to fix, but those external notices for Ohio Medicaid are virtually non-existent. And if we do get them, it's certainly because we knew it was coming. We knew it, and we already have a mitigation plan in place. So I think that's really one of our success stories, is understanding what our issues were, and then frankly, getting the leadership involved to help us fix it and address the problems.
Greg, I know that you're part of a very heavily regulated industry. With that in mind, can you talk about that journey from challenge to opportunity?
Sure. So, as I said before, we're in 20,000 homes a day, right? So
basically, the mom and pop operation.
That's exactly very small. Yeah. So, but unlike a hospital or health system, we're not contained in one place, right? The variability of being in someone's home versus being in a controlled setting creates these challenges. So we have all these people in a dispersed workforce in all different places. You don't know what you're walking into a lot of the times in the environment in the home. So that variability creates challenges for us. Level on top of that, or layer on top of that, the federal, state, contract, regulations, laws, the changes to those regulations that are happening continuously, and right? So it gets back to the people first piece. You have to have the right person there who's going to do the right thing. But changing that into opportunity is really around making sure that, obviously in healthcare you can't standardize everything, right? So making sure that people are aware, making sure that there's a culture there of compliance. But the opportunity, I think, comes where we can look externally to them and reward and recognize, right? So putting programs in place like we have a Heroes program, right? And every quarter we nominate a hero in every one of our offices, and thousands and thousands of heroes a year. We bring them together in a celebration every year, and we honor national heroes in this country. So creating that culture and rewarding and recognizing for compliance and for high quality and in healthcare quality and compliance, we have so intertwined, right? Quality issue can turn into compliance so quickly. So we take that quality stance and reward people for that, and that's what has allowed us to take what could be, as Chris said earlier, this compliance type, rules-driven program into a little softer kind of cultural version program.
It's a really good point, because with ethics in particular, there really needs to be a certain degree of feedback on there. If you're looking to really believe it, really practice it, people need to get that kind of validation that when they're doing the right thing, they need to know that it's being seen to be recognized and being appreciated, not just shouting at the void, but actually doing something that has an impact, not just to themselves, but to the organization. When the organization makes it known, they see it, they notice it, that has a real force multiplier on the whole program across the board. Now, Chris, earlier when you and I were talking, I know that you had undergone some pretty serious merger and acquisition activity with your company. There's kind of a big EC component to that. Would you want to talk about that perhaps a little bit, and how you kind of saw that it has its own challenges, but what was the success story that you brought out of that?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Western Digital was about 30,000 employees about 4 years ago. We acquired legacy Hitachi data system storage. Is that better? All right. So Western Digital acquired HDSD, which was the legacy Hitachi's storage business about 3 or 4 years ago, and then just last year acquired SanDisk. Interestingly, the 4 year ago integration still isn't done yet, because we were actually put on a MOFCOM called separate. MOFCOM is the antitrust regulator in China, and they decided that acquisition was taking up too much market share, so while they allowed the acquisition to go forward, they created 2 separate companies within one. And so one of the biggest challenges we've had is trying to layer an ethics and compliance culture within a company that is supposed to operate as 2 completely different and competitive organizations. So how we did that again, communications, and really going through this idea that we can be a diverse company, not just multiculturally, but also as 2 separate operating units, but still have a core fundamental belief in doing it the right way. And that came from our top, that came from our board, and ultimately has led through. And what we learned as well through this process is that if you don't have a well-functioning decision-making process within ethics and compliance, it's not just that you might be exposed to risk. You actually may be taking incredibly conservative decisions. And it's because you go oftentimes to outside counsel who don't know your business too much. They care about their own internal liability. And so when they give you advice, sometimes they're saying you can't do something simply because they don't understand your business well enough to know that you actually can. And so having what should and hopefully be a sophisticated in-house ethics and compliance and legal department, you can actually take much more measured risks on and much more strategic risk. Because I don't know how many lawyers are in the room, but very few laws are as clear as some regulators like to think they are. And so oftentimes you do have to have some form of an interpretation. And if you know your company's risk, you know your company's risk profile, and you understand the law, together you can actually take more measured risk and still be doing it right.
That's a really great point. Well, one of the things I've always noticed about great risk management is that it's the focus on the management part. It's not simply an avoidance of risk, full stop. It's knowing how to take that risk intelligently and how to put the pieces in place that allow you to take opportunities when they arise and minimize the risk that comes with them. Nothing is truly risk-free. You have to make sure you take those chances when you can and reduce the blowback to the organization. And ethics and culture and compliance is always a pretty big part of that.
Just want to add, I oftentimes tell executives, I say, we can get rid of risk right away, we just shut our doors. Right? Exactly. More risk. But as soon as our doors are open, there's going to be risk. It's just a matter about understanding our strategy and really measuring it in the right way.
So, a turtle will go inside the shell and be safe, but it's got to poke its head at some point to eat. It's okay to say that forever. So I've read these various stories. I mean, and in your position at VentureStream, being able to see, so many other kinds of success stories. What are some of the common themes that you see emerge between the folks that we have here today and other folks within your client base on this notion of how to take risks more intelligently, how to use compliance as a way to turn challenges into opportunity and success?
Right. The most common theme that I hear about and I see is the lack of information sharing across the organization. So most organizations have multiple places where they're documenting and tracking their business. Some groups use spreadsheets, others do it on paper, others have their own homegrown systems or technology, and they're not sharing information and measuring and mapping those risks in a consistent manner. That's the most common issue that I see that is really leading to one, duplication of effort. So business groups and audit teams and risk teams performing the same work again and again and again. What happens because of that is honestly it's a loss of hours, loss of man hours, loss of potential revenue that these teams could be focusing on. So having that common database and a common language where groups can talk risk with each other. And then to Chris's point, truly manage that risk, because without risk there is no reward, right? So make decisions based on quantitative and qualitative factors that come from measuring that risk, right? That's one area where we see organizations are struggling with and that they're trying to address. The second opportunity that I see, and this is being discussed more and more as we look at organizations that are 8,000 employees or with 20,000 customers, etc., is the ability to get an analytics out of your data that can then help you with things like trending, things like what happens if I reduce this factor, right? What happens to my revenue, right? Does it go up, does it go down? So advanced intelligence analytics that's been driven off of that data that you already have. And that data can come from multiple sources. It can come from sales, it can come from your ERP systems, from marketing systems, etc. They were seeing this big trend in analytics and predictive analytics. Why? Because resources are getting tighter and tighter, so organizations want to know if I'm spending 30 FTE, for example, in this particular program, and it's not yielding me as much of benefit, or I'm not able to manage I can manage my risk with 15 FTE and redeploy those to other areas that can help me increase my revenue a lot more. I need to have that information to be able to make those decisions. Those are two areas that we're seeing from a technology perspective that organizations are either struggling with and or working to deploy.
Interesting. So let me ask you this. You had mentioned the fight for resources, which are always kind of finite. Margo, is you the just compliance story at your organization for us, there was a big spur for things, given the investigation. Can you talk a little bit about what it's taken to get that top level support to really make the compliance program operate, and the resources it needs to operate? Compliance is great, culture is great, ethics is great, but it doesn't operate in a vacuum. It needs some gas in the tank to really actually happen. So what is your plan of attack in on that?
So we have looked at several different options, and prior to our CIA, we had probably about 5 or 6 people in our compliance department, so pretty small. And so since then, our compliance department has grown to about 45 people. Now, we have a broad scope of what we now define as compliance. So we have included delegation oversight in those activities. We have a little bit of enterprise risk management included in there as well. So not all of them are focusing on compliance, but the point being that when we work with our leadership to point out the fact that many of these issues that we were facing from the past were in fact identifiable, preventable, and at least mitigatable, if that's a word. It is now. And so from the perspective of working with our board specifically to present some of the data, I know Sunil was really preaching on data and integrated assurance, making sure that everybody knows what's going on. I think that leveraging a system or a tool to be able to put all that data together into a format that actually represents what everybody else is saying and demonstrates it across all the different platforms. So we were in an example that Sunil was describing, which was that we were saying here were our risks, but then they really didn't correspond with what compliance found or what internal audit found, or sometimes even what delegation oversight found. But we said these were the risks. We really needed all that data to say, well, was that really true, or is this just the noise? It's the squeaky wheel that's coming in. So by putting all this data together, we were then able to work with our board to really demonstrate where our opportunities are, and that again really helps solidify that top-down approach of what are we going to focus on, what are the things that we need to address, how are we going to change our culture of compliance through the things that we are saying are important. And then there's little things where we're putting scorecards together from a leadership perspective. We're communicating about how well people are doing towards our goals and objectives of the compliance. Lots of little things that we put into place, but the big part was using the information to actually communicate to our leadership and say, here's where our focus should be, so that then the strategy can be set and starts moving the right direction.
Chris, same question.
Sure, so I assume most folks here have been in business for quite a while. It's amazing how many business decisions are made without a vision or a strategy. And really, how many times you can get what you want if you have a vision and a strategy. It really doesn't take much more than that. I mean, everybody has to have a little bit of sales in them, and everybody has to earn some level of influence and respect in the organization to be able to speak. Quite frankly, a lot of the kinds of investments we talk about with technology, there's a level of a leap of faith, right? We can put together some data and suggest maybe there might be some analytics, but fundamentally we're selling something that is really hard to quantify. We're selling a mitigation of something that hopefully will never happen because of the consulting process. So the way that we did it, we didn't have the data because we didn't really have systems to begin that process. What we had was a vision. And that vision is very similar to what you heard Sunil talk about and others this morning talk about as well. It's a vision where silos don't get in the way of ourselves. But with an integrating organization, this is probably an easier sell because with a bunch of diverse systems happening throughout the organization, top management is already thinking about how do we consolidate, how do we find a way to get our systems to work together. And so our vision was that. Within compliance, we had 5 or 6 different tools trying to run processes from training to third-party management to our case management systems none of them talking to each other. Anytime the board asks to report about correlations among different processes, everybody's head exploded. And so we had to try to find a way. And the best way to do that, in my view, is bring them all together and have one system. And that's what we're trying to deploy right now. So we're in the early stages of Venture Stream implementation. That's going to bring our guest and entertainment, our training, our third-party management, our case management, our cultural survey, all of those within one house, within one technology, all designed to try to bring better data, better reporting, and ultimately more efficiency, not for our investigations, for our management decisions, for all those things. So once we sold that vision, everything else sort of fell into place. Obviously, we had to get past the hurdles of the cost. Ultimately, that vision alone with an integrating company really resonates. And I really want you to have that go a long way.
So, Greg, as I raise the issue of supporting resources, obviously the answer is quickly turns to technology solutions. So for you, how crucial is it to have those technology tools at hand to really achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve with your program? And can you perhaps offer an example or two?
Sure. So I think it's critical, and everything you guys have said, right? We're in the same position, right? We have spreadsheets in different groups and risk areas in different groups, and being able to pull those things together, understand where we can connect the dots, where things correlate to each other is enormous, right? So two things from our perspective there. The first is really building that governance structure that can support that. So, an example in our organizations, we pulled together the resources that have already those little silos, right? And have all those little spreadsheets, and now we're together in one group. So our legal services, our policy, our audit, clinical compliance, all these kind of things, quality, we put under one umbrella. What that allows us to do is take the information once we have it all together and analyze it and communicate back out to the organizations the lessons learned, right? And I think that's a big piece because the transparency that a system that captures all these things in one place, the transparency of risk, transparency of opportunity that creates, and being able to have those conversations about lessons learned, hardwiring that throughout the organization in every conversation and decision review. That to me is where the key is.
So, Margo, same question to you. How crucial is the technology component in your success plan for your ethics compliance program?
So the technology component is the hub and the foundation of everything that we need in order to effectively understand our structure and our risks. And we are in the position now where we have, where we are re-looking at our foundation. I've already said I'm a big data nerd, so reporting is all live and die by some of the reports that come out of the system. And so what I'm learning is that we really need to take time to look at the foundation of how all these pieces and parts actually connect together. Because I can build a risk module, and I can build a policy and procedure module, and I can build an audit module, whatever they're called now, I call them modules. But essentially, if they don't talk to each other and they're not using the same foundation object to connect the dots, then there is no connection. I can't get anything valuable out of it from a report perspective because I just built in silos. So the first thing that you need to do, and the thing that we are working on again, is to actually make sure that that foundation has those interconnectivities, and you understand the interconnectivities of which way do they go. Are they both ways or one way? Does a risk tie to a control, or does a control tie to a risk, or both? Which one is it? Because that matters then on your outputs and your reporting. And you can only get that through taking the time to figure it out, but also through a technology solution. You're not going to get that from Excel spreadsheets, and you're not going to get that from other, Word documents or SharePoint or any other thing that you're going to put together to support your system. You have to have that interconnected database of information so that no matter what module you're utilizing, you can leverage the background of how these elements connect together. And then ultimately your reporting comes out and tells you, aha, here's where your big moments are, and here's the things that you need to work on.
Chris, same question.
Well, we can talk a little bit about what our strategy is and our long-term strategy with technology. I'll just expand on that just a little bit in the area of partnerships. And so one of the challenges we've had is to truly assess risk in our view. And talking a little bit more about the culture piece as well, we realize that you can't ignore the employee relation issues. If you really want to care about culture, if you really want to understand risk, if there's a sexual harassing manager in Asia, the likelihood that there could be fraud or other types of misconduct is very high. And so if you're ignoring that and that's outside the system, oh, that's HR, they handle that, you've got a gap. Because any kind of misconduct has the potential for getting more and more serious and finding other areas of misconduct. If you haven't worked with your colleagues on the EH&S side, near misses, those types of things, it's very similar. And that logic can flow, I think, into our work in the ethics and compliance space as well. And it's really hard to do that without some form of technology. And technology, to bring that data in with such the amount of data that's out there in the world to help us condense it and organize it, it's just so critical today. And makes our jobs, or has the potential to make our jobs much better.
So we've got just a couple minutes left, and Sanal, I want to get you kind of a final question here. One of the things I find most interesting when we discuss compliance and technology in particular, there's some really huge trends that are shaping the present and the future of compliance that are all technology-based. But there are some, and a lot of practitioners who are welcoming this open arms, right? They're seeing the ability to do more through resources, to do better compliance, to free up the people in the program for more strategic roles. But there are practitioners who need this with a sense of resistance, especially on the ethics front. There are people who look at this and go, there's always a human element that has to be involved. No machine can possibly replicate that. There's always the cultural element, and machines don't get culture, people get culture. And these are good points, but sometimes they're kind of held up as sort of strawman arguments for justifying not really making the leap and embracing the technology side of the equation. So, given your role, what would you say to somebody who looks at these things and has a hard time parsing how to connect the very human side of great ethics and compliance and the very technological side of great ethics and compliance?
Right, and that's always a hard thing because it is, as much about the people and the philosophy as it is about technology, because without those two aspects, you're not going to have a successful technology deployment, right? But my belief is that boards and senior management inherently want to do the right thing because it means it's the right thing for the business. But sometimes they're afraid of knowing, what wrongs lie underneath the carpet. And they don't want to know about it. It's the case with Volkswagen, right? The compliance and ethics case where the told from the top was that the CEO just did not want to hear bad news. And that created a culture within the organization where senior management did not deliver him the bad news, and it kind of trickles down thereafter, right? So when the equality issue came up, it's something that was swept under the rug for quite a while because the goal that the top was we're going to have to be Toyota, we have to be number one, and these compliance and ethics issues could really go and harm their brand and their reputation and ultimately their revenue and their valuation of the stock market, right? So what I say to customers who are struggling with yes, there's a human element. Guess what? There's always going to be a human element. And even the best reports and dashboards will need that human element to be applied on top of it, right? That's just the reality. But not having the information puts you, Mr. CEO, puts you, Mr. CFO, or Mr. Chief Compliance Officer in a position of disadvantage for your own reputation. And that's what we see, right? And a lot of the use cases or the case studies that we've heard about with what's going on at Wells Fargo and on and on and on, kind of circles around that tone from the top and not having the information. So, my suggestion is get the data, and the human element will always be on top of it.
Oftentimes, the data will set you free. If you
Absolutely.
build it up, the data will set you free. Well, we're just about out of time. I just want to thank the panel for a lively discussion. I really appreciate your feedback and your candor and your anecdotal evidence on how you made your program work for you. One of the things I took away from this, is that these things we discussed today, these are all really, they're the fundamentals of a great program. They're not just nice to have, they're not just sort of bolt-on attributes. These are all things that have to be kind of brewed together on a fundamental level to work in the board and perfect harmony. And I think it's really encouraging seeing how you've all done that in your respective organizations. It's all, there are different pathways to success. Every organization has different needs, and the tools, everybody can use the same tools, but they have to use it in different combinations with different effect. And it's really interesting seeing how all you've done that. So thank you very much for sharing your insights with us today. And thank you all, you in the audience for being with us today. I think we're about out of time. So thank you very much for coming, and we will see you. We got big time up black in the back. And enjoy the rest of the DRC Summit. Thanks so much.
So you guys have been talking a lot about compliance and ethics and compliance interchangeably. I was curious if you could explain, this is for everybody, what distinguishes ethics from just regular compliance? And how do you measure that? So you're talking a lot about data, but specifically, can you give some examples of how you can use data to measure your ethics?
Well, I'll start off with a very, very surface comment, which is that compliance is what you must do, ethics is what you should do. Compliance is what you do when there's somebody looking over your shoulder, ethics is what you do when you're looking at yourself in the mirror. That's how we start the conversation. For a much more substantive answer, I'll turn it over to the panel.
I'll just go quickly. To me, it's about the person, right? When you give somebody a decision to make, and you have a rule in place, maybe some people will say, the rule's there, and that's why I'm going to make this decision. But to your point, you want the people who would make the decision anyway, and that to me is ethics, right? It's the judgment piece versus just the rule itself.
To answer your specific questions about measurement, I don't know if there is actually a way to measure ethics. You measure ethical behavior, other than through the outputs of the measurements of compliance. Okay, so that ethics will show up in bad compliance if you're doing it properly and if you're researching it properly and you are diving deeply enough. If you're only looking at the surface, you're not going to miss that unethical behavior. However, I think that those two are interconnected, but I am not aware of a way where I'd be able to measure somebody's ethics and how much evil versus devil is on their shoulders.
That'd be a good, report card to have on the next M7 release. When I think about ethics, I think about the values that drive employees to, future, right, future action. And I agree with Margot that it's very hard to measure that, but that's one of the reasons why there are compliance programs and specific, metrics on training, on issues, on, violations, etc. That help give you some kind of a scorecard. But the tools at the top, I think that's driven by ethics again, and based on the ethics that your management has, that drives the tone from the top. So I think that, those two kind of tie in very closely together, and they kind of manifest itself with your policies and procedures, right? Are they just, meeting the legal and regulatory requirement, or are they going above and beyond what is required by law?
Chris, you got about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I turn a person in the back and have an aneurysm. So look, I think they have to work together, right? I think you can get into trouble if all you're doing is focusing on compliance, based on what we talked about. I think you get in trouble while you're focusing on ethics, because sometimes people have a very different definition of what the right thing to do is. I think you have to have both of them play together, so we emphasize both. They're quite clearly. As far as how to measure it, I think it's the way we talked about this morning. I think as a department, you have to get out and you got to get to it. It's very hard to measure that ethics with data. Yes, you look at compliance, you still have to look people in the face.